Okay, so the first step we'll make is going to convert dog years into human years. So if you ever wondered how old your dog would be if he was a human, you'll soon have an app for that. Alright, so there's one important thing you need to know before we can get started. Um, Throughout the course, you'll see me use these guys a lot. And what this is a comment. Alright, so anything that starts with a double slash is a comment. The computer ignores comments, okay? So the computer doesn't read lines that start with a double slash. It's just like a note for the developer to make the code easier to understand. So, for example, you might see a complicated line of code and a comment right above it that explains what's going on in that line of code. Okay, so let's get to our first real line of Swift code. The arrow you see on the left indicates which line the computer is currently executing, alright? So we didn't put an arrow next to the comment because the computer ignores comments, remember? So what does this line really mean? Well, you should kind of read it as let dog age be 4. So in this line of code, we're basically telling the computer that there is something called dog age with the value 4. A good way to visualize this is shown on the right here. You can kind of see it as a box with the label dog age on it and the number 4 inside. Okay, so this next line of code is a little bit more complicated. And again, like as a human, you read this like let dog age in human years be 7 times whatever dog age is. Okay, so what the computer does here looks like this. It's going to find a box called dog age, get whatever is inside it, which is 4 in this case, and put it here. Okay, so like that. Then it calculates what 7 times 4 is, which is 28, and it puts the result, so the 28, in the box called dog age in human years. Okay, so now we know what the age of your dog is in human years, but we still have to show it to whoever is running the code somehow. This is where the print command comes in. So what the print command does is it takes whatever is between the parentheses after the word print and shows it in something called the console. Okay, and I'll show you in a second what the console is. So in this case, between the left parenthesis and the right parenthesis is this piece of text that says your dog is, and then whatever we just calculated your dog age is in human years. Okay? So as promised, I'll now show you what the console is. If you click this button here in Xcode in the upper right corner of your screen, you open the console. Okay? And the console then shows up at the bottom of your screen. Anything you print using the print command shows up in the console. Okay, so maybe we could add something to make our app even more cool. This guy on the right here is called Bluey. He's an Australian cattle dog and he lived to be 29 years old, and that makes him, officially speaking, the oldest dog that ever lived. So maybe we could do something like, when the user's dog is older than 29, we could congratulate the user on breaking the world record. Alright, so what we want to do now is tell the computer that if dog age is more than 29, it should tell the user that his dog is older than the oldest dog ever. Okay, so we can do this with this piece of code here, which is called an if statement. So let's break this down a little bit. So in this line right here, we're saying that if the dog age is more than 29, the computer should execute whatever is between the curly braces. Okay, so these are the curly braces, and in this case, what is between the curly braces is this line right here. Okay, so if dog age is more than 29, the computer is going to print your dog is older than Bluey in the console. Alright, so that's it for lesson 1. In the description you can find the code I used in this lesson. I really encourage you to download it and play around with it. Adjust some things here and there and see what happens, and that'll really help solidify what you learned in your mind.